Hi friends, welcome. Today we are going to make some Mickey ears using epoxy with these super cute Disney ear molds I picked up from Amazon. So I am using Hippie Crafter epoxy, part A, part B, mixed 1-to-1. And then I added some blue glitter to this, and I'm going to just pour it in my mold and then let it sit until it is completely hard. I did use my Hobby Lobby mixer in order to mix this up really well, and that works so good. So listen, if this is your first time visiting, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subby friend, and if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. So I'm just going to fill these. Of course, if there are any air bubbles, I could just take some heat to them to get rid of it. Or I also like to use denatured alcohol, so you can spray your molds with alcohol greater than 92%, and it will get rid of the bubbles and it will not hurt your molds at all. But it has to be a high percentage alcohol. So I'm just going to fill my molds all the way up. And then let them sit overnight. And this glitter is, I don't remember the color of it, but it is a blue glitter from Glitter Chip. And of course, you can do whatever color you want. This is my first time using these molds and doing these ears, and so I'm excited to see how it turns out. We're going to try it together. So here are my molds. They are all nice and dry, and I'm going to be using some ribbon. I've got some, different colors here that I want to use. I want to use this burlap and some red kind of color. And this headband from Amazon, they come in a pack. I will tell you, the headband was a poor choice. And then I'm going to be making my bow. It's out of leather, and it is this stitch leather. So the bow, I wanted it to be about, I wanted the sheet of leather to be about 8 by 10. So I just cut a couple inches off of it. I could have used my Cricut, but I didn't need to. So I just used my little Cricut cutter here, cut it off, and then I'm going to cut another strip for the piece to go around the center of the bow. And then I'm going to set the leather aside. The headband that I'm using, like I said, it's from Amazon, but it was a really just bad choice. It's very flimsy, and definitely use a better headband. So I am just going to take the ribbon. I ended up using this burlap color for the underneath where I wanted to use red, but I wanted a piece of ribbon that would come up and cover the sides as well. So I did the burlap, and then the burlap with some like red stitching down it over the top. So I just used my hot glue gun and completely covered my headband in the ribbon that I wanted. You can also use like material, whatever you want. Now this is covered. I'm going to put on my ears. I was originally going to use this thin string. It's like a burlap and red twine, and I thought it would look really pretty. But what I realized was I couldn't get it tight enough, so I ended up using a different, it's like a clear, stretchy, hard bead string. I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. And then I just took a little tool and made sure that all of the holes were clear. Sorry, my little grandson's sitting with me. Now, I was measuring out the ears. I used my tape measure, and I'm only doing like 2 inches between the ears because this is so flimsy of a headband that I was afraid if I put the ears down where I would normally put them that they would sort of bend, you know what I mean? Even though the epoxy is not that hard, and it really isn't all that heavy, nothing like what I expected. It's just that these headbands are really, truly very flimsy. My little grandson is sitting with me, so if you hear the baby babble, that's who it is. So I just took this string, and this string worked really, really good. And once I get all of these tied on, I will show you the actual container so you can see it. I picked it up at Hobby Lobby in like the bead section. But this, it has just a little bit of a stretch to it, but it's not so stretchy that you can't get it tight. So I just went through and tied all of the holes and put them on secure, and then just made a nice little knot after it. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to show you the second side being done as well. Now, because I do want that red and burlap twine in it, I am still going to put that in afterwards. I'm just going to use this to keep it secure. So now I have both ears on. They're really secure. Like, this beading string is like so good. This worked fantastic. It's on really secure. And now you definitely wouldn't have to, you know, put a ribbon or another string through here, but it's enough room that you could. So like I'm putting this twine through there. You could put ribbon, but then of course you could also just leave it as is. You could cover it over with flowers or just leave it like it is. It's fine either way. So I'm just going to go through and put my twine through, and honestly, just because I want it. I think it'll look cute. It'll go along with what I was trying to do. And it's not going to be securing it on. It's just going to be there for looks. So I'm just going to hot glue my ends underneath so that I don't have any, you know, like bulky knots or anything there. And then again, for the sake of time, I'm not going to show you putting it through the second ear. I'll just show you when it's done. All right, so here is it finished with the ribbon through both ends. And this is the string that I use. And it is a bead string, but works so good, like perfect for these ears. And here they are all put together, and now we are going to make our bow. So for the bow, I'm using leather for this one, and you could use leather, you can use cloth, you know, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to take my piece and I'm going to fold it in half just so that I have a mark. And then I'm going to take each end and fold it up to that middle mark and then hot glue it down. Just put on some hot glue. Make sure it's nice and secure. And then once I do both sides, then I'm going to fold it over again to get a center mark. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the ends and I'm going to fold each end to the center, and then I'm going to glue it down. Now with this being leather, once I get it kind of glued down, I am going to go in and just like maybe put a little bit of glue on the insides of it. Make sure that everything is glued down really well because it is pretty thick. And I like the leather because it makes a nice full bow, but you don't have to. You can use material, and if you want, you can even put a little bit of batting in your material and make a nice full bow that way as well. And then after I do this, I'm going to take it and just do 5 accordion folds. And then once I get that together, I'm going to take a piece of that same string and tie it around. So I like to use either like a bread tie or a piece of string or something when I'm doing bows, and tie them first before I put like that center piece around it. That way I'm not trying to hold it and glue at the same time. I'm just not really all that coordinated. So I tie my string around, keep it in place, and then I'm going to cut off my ends, and I'm going to take my piece of leather and put it around the center and just glue it all the way around. And then after I get this piece on and I feel satisfied with my bow, I just kind of decide, you know, which side of the bow I want to use. And then I'm going to hot glue that to my ears. This hot glue gun is so good because it's so powerful, but once that stick gets to a certain point, you got to kind of push it in, which is a pain. And there's my bow. It looks good. So now I'm just going to glue it to my ears. And make sure it stays on well. And then I like to, you know, tack my stuff down really good. So I'm going to take my bow and I'm going to kind of tack it to the ears also. That way it sits nice. And then, you know, just add a little bit of hot glue to the back. Make sure everything is tacked down really well. And here are my ears. So these came out super cute. Again, the first time I made them with the epoxy, I definitely would like them to be down a little tiny bit, not much, but a little tiny bit further on the headband. Again, these packet of headbands from Amazon, way too flimsy for this. I would use a nice, well-constructed headband so that, you know, it's not so heavy for it. However, the whole idea of it and the concept is really good. The epoxy ears were not nearly as heavy as I thought they were going to be, and they really did turn out super good. So I like them a lot. And I will do another pair of these and, you know, kind of put a little bit more design into it. But for the first time seeing how they work, I'm super happy. Well, listen, friends, I hope you liked the video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day. If you haven't already done so, hit subscribe and I'll see you later. Michael, say bye. Bye. Good job, buddy.